There's a 2
You should be like
KD.
2 or 3 times.
There's a 1.998 and a 2 KD. Both backed out. Alright.
Uh-oh, nuke time.
Hey, JRT here, and welcome back to another video. This is Hardcore Team Deathmatch on the map Throwback, and I go 70-4, meaning I got 70 kills out of 100 on the map Throwback. As you can tell, I'm actually chatting with a friend of mine, Scuba Steve. He's not actually playing in the match with me. I am playing solo, but he's just chatting with me in the lobby. While I was chatting with him, I didn't realize till closer to the end of the match that I was actually gonna go and get 70. And when I saw 68 or 67, I started really rushing to try to get that last kill to try to make it 70. So again, I went 70-4, and I thought it was a pretty good gameplay considering I wasn't really fully paying attention to what was going on in the game. I was too busy chatting with a buddy of mine. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and discuss a few things I wanted to discuss with my viewers before. I get questions on why I don't do create a class setups. And I've addressed this before in Black Ops 3 when I had a Black Ops 3 video a while back, and I really don't remember which video it was, but I discussed create a class setups. The reason why I don't do them is because I have a create a class for every situation. And it depends on a lot of variables that take place. Like, who are you playing against? Are they good? Are they below average players? Are they just average? What do you think they're going to be using? That kind of situation. Like for me, for example, if I know I'm playing against good players, I want to use my MAC-TAV or my flatline, depending on the situation. Now, I know most players that have high 2 KDs rely on their personal radars. I never use personal radar, honestly. I mean, some people recommended it to me, but I think it's a waste of space when I have so much better perks I could use or something else that I could use. So personal radar for me isn't that important, especially since it can be countered by cold-blooded. So I have a cold-blooded class along with my MAC-TAV. And to help me get a 1-up on people, I also use Gung Ho, Dead Silence, Ghost, and like I said, cold-blooded if it's against good players. If it's against just about average players or below average players, I usually switch out cold-blooded for hardline. Get me those streaks a little bit faster. Now, usually if I'm playing against below average players, I use my nuke class setups, which is typically the NV4 Fallout or the Armageddon. Karma Armageddon. And that's typically for below average players. This game, I really didn't care what I was using. I was just running and gunning. It was just like my second game of the day, second or third game of the day, so I really didn't care. I was just playing around. Some other considerations you have to take into account also is your connection. I mean, I've adjusted my router settings, and I had to talk to my cable company as well to make sure that I have the best speed available. And when I mean by speed, I mean ping. I'm not talking about download and upload speed. Yes, it does matter when it comes to download and upload speed, but not very much. For instance, DSL I had when I lived in another house, I only had 6 megabytes download speed and a half upload speed, but yet I could still play exceptionally well with barely any lag. I might not ever get host, but I could still play very well because my ping was so excellent. The lower the ping, the better. A lot of people think it has to do with upload and download speed. It only matters a lot only if you stream a lot. I upgraded mine only because it saved me money, but also I can now stream easier. And going back to my original statement in regards to create a class, my classes are set up to my play style. And I know that I've adjusted my internet settings to the best that I can possibly do to ensure that I have the lowest ping and the fastest speed that I can have. There's a lot of variables that take into account, and I never have just one special class setup. There are some known YouTubers out there, I'm not going to call out who they are, but they like to use create a class setups. Oh, this is the epic create a class setups. This is the best create a class setup. And really, if you look at who they're playing, they're not good. They're playing against below average players. That is not the best class setup. Yes, it'll work for bad players, but a lot of people that want to take tips from these players are the ones that are trying to already get better. And to me, it's just a waste of time if you're going to show bad players in a game where you say it's the best create a class setup that you can have for this specific gun. To me, if you're gonna show any type of gameplay in regards to the best class setups, you need to show them against good players. You should have proof that they were good. Like maybe show their stats at the beginning of the match or something. But they never do that. Most players, most big YouTubers that I know of will not show you the team that you're playing with, the team that they're playing against, their stats or anything like that. I'm sorry if you guys hear the thunder in the background. It is lightning and thunder right now. But going back to what I was saying is, these I actually thank those big YouTubers at the same time, because they're telling these players that they should be using this specific type of create a class setup, which is useless against good players. So meanwhile, they're taking all this advice, bad advice at that, and trying to apply it to a game against good players. So you're technically giving me these kills because you're taking advice, really poor advice, from players that lobby shop. The only exception to what I was stating about creative classes and how these people would like to use epic class setups or whatever is the fact that maybe you just want to complete the gun and you want to use that gun to its best potential. That's the only exception. But if you're trying to get better at the game, I don't recommend any of their creative class setups. None of them, because they're always playing against bad players. Anyways, that's my spiel. If you do want to see my good creative class setups against good players, just let me know in the comment section below. And that's pretty much the end of this this gameplay. Again, like I said, I did get 70-4, and I really didn't know it until more than halfway through the match. And again, most of these players were below average, like I was saying before, but you know what? They tried. They did try to play against me, but if any of them took advice from the YouTubers I was referring to earlier in the video, that's one of the issues I have. Well, anyway, this is JRT, and as always, I'll see you next time.
You ready?